Hi, Kara.
Hi, Ralph. Welcome to PWS Pampanga.
Hi. So, tell us about this space. Anong gagawin dito and what do we expect?
So, welcome again to PWS Pampanga. So, where we are now is the weighbridge area. So, this weighbridge area is where we do the waste accounting. So, basically, you'll see the trucks, the garbage trucks, carrying all the waste come in. And there's a weighing scale over here where they will go on. And then it's connected to our automated system. And this connects to our SAP. So this makes sure that our waste accounting is always accurate. This is a calibrated weighing scale, DOST calibrated weighing scale.
So basically, pagdating nung truck here, we get an estimate or a rough kung ilang
Yes.
tons or ganun ba?
So when they enter, they go on that weigh bridge, and then we will record the waste that they're carrying. And then when they go out, I don't know if you can see it from here, they'll exit the egress weigh bridge areas, and then the empty trucks will be weighed again. So the net weight is what we record for billing purposes. So it's connected to our SAP system to ensure transparency and accuracy.
So mga ilang, gaano karaming basura yung kaya ng facility na to?
So initially, we're ready to accept about 3,000 tons per day of municipal solid waste. But our capacity as we build up can reach up to 5,000 tons per day.
And then your goal is, kapag nakolekta nyo na, hindi siya landfill, correct?
Correct. So this is a large-scale materials recovery facility, meaning as the wastes come in, there's a thorough segregation and pre-treatment process so that we can maximize what we can recycle or upcycle. And then whatever is left in terms of residuals, we bale that or wrap it. You'll see it in the process later. And we place that in a stockyard, and that one will go into our future conversion process through Waste Fuel Philippines. Okay, so when they enter, usually we have a list of pre-registered trucks because we need to make sure that all the trucks that come in are compliant, making sure that they're contained and they're not leaking and things like that. So they'll come in after the security check in the entrance area. They come in here to the weigh bridge. So this is the ingress weigh bridge. So here, this is a garbage truck that will go on the weigh bridge. So the truck drivers will see that this is the weight that they're carrying currently. And then if we go over here, there's an automated weighing scale that's connected to a SAP system that will record the ingress weight.
So that says, ilang kilos ba yan?
6,860 kilograms. Yes. So basically, that's about 6 to 7 tons of waste coming in, including the truck. So it's important also that we have an egress weigh bridge on the other side. So when the waste is discarded and placed in our tipping floors, the empty truck will weigh itself again by the exit, and the net weight is the difference is what we will bill and charge to the relevant customer.
So mga ilang trucks yung expected dito?
So we're planning for about over 300. On average, trucks are about 8 to 10 tons. So that's what we are planning for. Yeah.
Now, Kara, natimbang na natin yung basura and now
Yes.
it's here.
Yeah, so this is what we call a tipping floor. So this is where we receive and the trucks discard the mixed waste or the waste that we receive. And then it will go through a conveyance system.
So this one.
This is the conveyance system. So it will be fed here, and then it will go up.
Okay, so after sorting that out,
Yes.
this machine does its job. So ano ba to?
Yes, so as you can see, there's a conveyance line here that brings it up to what we call the vibrating sieve. So think of the vibrating sieve like a strainer. It has different layers so that they can separate the inorganics from the organics. So the plastics or the inorganics, that will stay at the top, and then the organics will fall at the bottom.
Oh.
So it's like a vibrating sieve that we got from Germany.
So how long does that process take?
So it's actually very quick only. So it takes minutes to go through the entire line. So obviously the limitation is the width or the size of the conveyance.
Yeah.
But we can continuously just keep on loading it, and it will continuously just accept the waste as it comes.
So ano ang, again, the goal really is to filter which
Yes.
ones are, ano ba? So yung, after that, 90 or ilang percent ba ay yung kaya niyong
Yes.
going into, what do you call it? Something for fuel, right?
Yeah, so basically right now, what we want to do is recover 80 to 90% of all the wastes that we receive. The inorganics or dry wastes or non-biodegradables, that goes through a shredding process, and that becomes what we call refuse-derived fuel. So that's basically just shredded plastic that can be used as an alternative for coal for industrial sites like cement plants.
Yeah. So, Cara, paano ka naman napunta dito? I mean, this is obviously, pag ilang job mo na ba?
So this is, I think, my third job. So my background is actually in business and economics.
Oh,
My previous work was in the oil and gas industry. I worked in both downstream and upstream. My last job was actually working with Malampaya.
oh,
So,
okay.
ironically, Mr. Razon eventually
Yeah,
purchased,
yeah,
acquired a portion of
Yeah.
Malampaya, and eventually assumed operatorship of that asset. So it's a full circle moment for me.
Yeah.
So I joined the company, Prime Infra, to be part of the waste fuel sector.
Yeah.
So that waste fuel business is something that we determined as technically feasible. It was lacking really is the consistency and the sustainability of
Yeah.
the feedstock.
Yeah.
So that's how Prime Waste Solutions was born. We wanted to ensure that we had enough waste so that we can select the right technology and the right conversion process. So
I mean, this
that's
is really
why I'm here today.
kung napapansin ko, it's really a man's job based. It's a man's world basically
Yeah,
here.
I understand.
And
yes.
yeah, I mean, kapag basura talaga, yung
Yeah.
naisip ko, nobody really wants to think about that, pero
Yes.
you want
Well,
to do this.
I've always enjoyed being the rose among the thorns. So I've always taken pride in being able to thrive in masculine workplaces. And so far, it has not been a hindrance, or it has not been a problem for me.
Yeah.
Actually, there are some benefits to being a female or a woman in the workplace like this. You know, people are open, they're communicative. I try to disarm them and really charm them when we do business together. So far, no problems, and I'm really proud to be one of the few women in this type of industry. Actually, oil and gas is also quite male-dominated,
Yeah.
so I'm used to this kind of environment.
Now, anong next? After the filtering, what happens?
So after the segregation or the sieve, it goes through bins, and then the residuals or the organics that we cannot put in the shredding process for RDF production goes into the baler. So that baler will compact waste, and then it will wrap it. It can be stored for a number of years. And then once we select the technology for Waste Fuel Philippines, that's where it will be fed into.
And pansin ko, hindi masyadong mabaho. I mean, there's a
Yes.
hint there, but it's...
Yes, so for this type of processing, of course, we cannot avoid the bad odor coming
Yeah.
from waste, fresh waste coming in. But immediately, as soon as the waste enters the facility and comes into our tipping floor, we have a chemical process where we are able to mitigate the smell of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
waste. That's why it's not that bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Although, admittedly, you cannot avoid the
Yeah,
smell of waste.
definitely.
However, once it goes through this process, The end process being the residual waste, which is the smelly waste. It's compacted and wrapped in an airtight material, so the smell is very controlled.
So, Kara, anong nangyayari ngayon?
So this is the vibrating seed that I was talking about earlier. So it's about 3 layers. So it basically shakes and separates organics and inorganics. So you can see the plastics that we can shred later on in the process remains on top. And if you look at the bottom, those muddy materials, that's the residuals. And that's the organic portion.
You can't use that.
You can use that in the future, but for now, what we do is compact and bale it and store it for future use.
Yeah.
But this is the one that usually causes the smell and causes the methane emissions. So it separates there. And then this one will go to our shredding process. And that's what we make into yung RDF na tinatawag natin, refuse-derived fuel.
Now, after filtering out all the things that we want and we kind of don't want,
Yes.
what's the final step? It's just the final step na ba?
So basically, this is the final step for the waste that we will store and stock for later use. So basically, this is where your either organics or residuals will go. So this is a baling system. So what happens here is that the residuals and the organics will be compacted, and then it will be placed in a cylindrical net and then wrapped in a baling material. And it will be cylinders, 1-ton cylinders in that shape. And then we stock that in our stockyard for future use.
Ayun na nga, nagsistart na siya.
Yeah.
Now, so kapag na-compact na siya, anong mga gamit niya?
So in the future, for example, organics, we want to put that into the waste fuel process where you turn organics and put it through anaerobic digestion process. It's a chemical process, and then that becomes biogas. And then that biogas can be converted into things like methanol. So methanol can be a sustainable fuel alternative for shipping oil.
And then the inorganic ones, what happens to that?
So for the inorganic ones, usually what we do is we shred it. And then after we shred it, we also bale it. And then we deliver it to our customers needing refuse-derived fuel.
And those companies are
Cement companies,
cement
basically.
companies.
Yes.
Cement companies lang ba, or may iba pa bang companies who can most likely find benefit from that?
So it's usually used in industrial sites, but for now in the Philippines, mostly it's the cement companies who have demand for it.
So what's the future that you're seeing in this in the waste industry space now that Prime Infra is doing it?
So really, first, we want to introduce efficient waste management practices. We want to make sure that we operate in such a way that there's concern for environment and the community and the people surrounding the facility. And then next really is to take it to the next level, which is turn it into a sustainable fuels business, which is converting the waste into something way more valuable than what it is now.
Now, I think our audience is curious as well who
Yes.
works here. And are they locals?
Yes, so most of our employees are locals from Porac, Pampanga, or all around Pampanga and the north. We have a team here. The aspiration is to employ about over 200 people. We will start in batches, so because obviously it's not going to be 3,000 tons of waste on day one. So we will face the manpower as the waste grows. But we fully intend to employ the host community, people who are interested in this job. So there's a lot of engineers here. There's a lot of people who are good with manual labor, heavy equipment operations, and things like that.
No, I think pansin ko naman no kapag mga landfill,
Yeah.
maraming tao 'yan, 'di ba? Parang
Yes.
kumukuha ng mga basura
Yes.
nila. And now that you're basically doing this,
Yes.
saan sila?
Okay, so that's something that we want to highlight. No, we're not removing the people element of this waste facility or just the waste industry in general. We've made them part of our process. So we call them materials recovery attendants. So we've given them PPE, helmets, vests, masks, gloves. We've given them access to nearby hospitals and nurses so that we can provide them safe jobs. And it's not that perception anymore that their health is at risk when they're working in a facility like this.
Now ngayon na wrap na yung basura, no? So what
Yes.
happens next?
So basically, this is compacted. That's all waste. It's compacted. It's wrapped with a net. And then it's wrapped with this plastic baling material. So this one will be transported to a stockyard over there, and it will be stacked. So unlike other waste disposal facilities where open waste is buried into the ground, it will be stacked like a pyramid of baled waste. So it's shaped like a cylinder. So it doesn't necessarily look like a dump site or open
Yeah.
waste na nakakalat.
So hindi siya, I mean, it's secured. Basically, hindi
Yes,
siya
it's airtight.
basta,
Yeah.
ano ba to? Especially the fluids, right? It's
Correct.
quite
So,
dangerous.
so that the way it's compacted is that it's airtight and it's watertight. So there won't be any leachates or wastewater coming out of that cylinder, nor any methane emissions because it's airtight. Think of it like being mummified, waste that is mummified. So that's why it's good for, it's not harmful to the environment when it's wrapped in that way.
And how many hectares is this facility
So
para
this-
pwedeng lagyan ng mga to?
So basically, this facilities is in total 50 hectares, but our project site area is only about 10 hectares. And we don't plan to expand the property further, unlike other facilities, because we really try to recover up to 90% of what we receive. So it will just be a minimal storage area for these baled waste. And eventually, our aspiration is really to feed it into the waste fuel process.